What's up, y'all? Good Monday. Good to see y'all. Listen, y'all. If y'all don't know, this is TFG Tonight, and I'm your host, Mr. Haynes. And this is the best morning show that you can watch at night. Y'all listen, that's Devin, that's Lee, and that's Kenny.
I'm trying to be nice.
Black said we got two Americans.
Let's say to my brother Black, man, I think you could be a preacher. I ain't never heard somebody that use a curse word and then read a scripture right after.
So let me state for the record, I am a misogynist. You know,
yeah.
Pull out the card, Doc. He's
and I'm a chauvinist as well. Anybody who knows me knows that.
That's right. That is
Now I can go back to minding my own business. Either that boy is Benjamin Button or somebody lying.
And listen, and that boy may be mentally 12, but he's 34.
But you bad boy, you don't do it again.
I'll let Black articulate a little bit better than that.
Nope.
Okay.
Never mind.
It's good for the soul. It's like medicine. Right?
Yeah, for real.
That's all I gotta say. I wish I had one of them applause buttons too. Like that.
Good morning, y'all. Happy Monday.
What up, everybody? Hey, it is Monday, and wow, we ain't seen y'all in 7 days. But listen, I ain't got time to play. The Pope is gone, and I know there's a lot of people mourning, and I know one person that don't care, and we'll ask him about. No, I ain't gonna ask him nothing about that man, because we let the dead rest, so we let that man rest. All right, but anyway, good to see y'all. Hey, everybody doing all right?
Good Monday.
Yes, sir.
Good. Lee, you feeling better?
Feeling
Good.
so much better.
Oh, good. Well, listen, y'all, I got my buttons ready because I'm sure he ready to go off today. So we'll let it be what it is. We ready. All right, because there's plenty to talk about. So listen, if we say something y'all like, by all means, you see, oh, it ain't even down there. Let me put it on there. There it is. Ta-da. Send a little cash app if you want to. Let's do some roll calling. Hey, Carl. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, what up, CC?
Great
Hey,
man.
what's happening,
Hey.
Brittany? Good Monday to you.
Yeah, and look at that. Miss Toria.
There she go. What's up?
Please,
Miss
by
Toria.
all means. Thank you. Yes, tip the host. Thank you so much if you don't mind. All right, y'all. Listen, we got to keep up with Red Dollar. Make it holler. He trolling, y'all. He's trolling. There was a report today that says Trump he is calling for reparations for illegal immigrants because of illegal immigrants. Now he's saying the people that have suffered from these illegal immigrants, he wants those people to receive reparations. Really? Really? And so again, he's trolling, bro. I mean, Black, I know you don't have no problem with him, but again, what you doing that for?
It's a direct smack in the face of Black people.
Right.
Every policy that he's enacting out is following the Prop 25 agenda that they told you that he was going to put into play. And so, I'm not believing, and I'm not mad at him. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
But the plain truth of it was we've had an African-American president in office that was too affable and was afraid to step out of line and appear to slant too far left on our side. Yeah. We had Smiling Joe in office, who also plays both sides of the aisle. And then you have Agent Orange, who playing to his base, his legacy is at stake. He won't be here long enough to live after the damage that's done. And so the reality is, where we've been calling for reparations for I don't know how long, 40 acres and a mule, he's basically saying to his base and the poor white trash and the people that sleep with their cousins that, hey, I'm fighting for you, and that I'm not going to give these ninjas nothing. But whether it can be passed or not, the fact that he's bringing it up, it's a direct affront to the existence of people with color.
Right. And sister, I'm gonna get this to you because we know it ain't gonna pass. It's just not going to. If y'all, let me help y'all out. If y'all remember what happened to Rodney King, pass that bill if you want to. I'm just saying, sister. To that point, I mean, again, he's gaslighting us.
He's clearly just trying to incite. He gets off on inciting for some strange reason, and I don't know why. like our platform, I think, is niche enough where there's not a lot of outside traffic. I'll say it like that, to where it's okay for us to talk about it. But I wish people, for the most part, would just ignore him, and then he would stop doing it, because he incites and he does it because it works. It makes people feel like he's doing something, because let's be honest, a lot of the people that voted for him because they felt like he had the same ideologies as them.
Yeah. And again, like you said, we've ignored him from all the shenanigans he's done, for almost these last 100 days, because we saw you last term. So we know what's up, man. So again, you're gonna have to do a lot more than what you're doing in order to get something out of us. But that ain't gonna be it, bro. That ain't it. Right. What you thinking about?
Right. And I've said this from the jump. Black folks, my brothers and sisters, mind our business. This ain't our fight this time. I'm gonna continue to walk my fish and fly my cat and be unbothered again. So I mean, this ain't our fight. Real talk. So
that is so funny when you say that, dude. When you first said that, I thought you misspoke until I said, "Oh, you meant to say it." And I'm like,
I mean that with every inch of my body, every fiber in my head. I mean that.
Yes,
but to Lady D's point, his drug dealers keep feeding him. A narcissist likes attention. So we're bombarded every single day. If he farts, it's news.
Yeah. Again, I don't have a problem with Donald Trump because he's always been who he was. Just to support him.
Definitely consistent.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
I promise you, because again, he tells us who he is, and he's gonna say exactly what he says. So again, it's not him, it's them clowns that support him. That's my problem. Because again, y'all don't got the money he got. And again, okay, but anyway. All right. Well, listen, y'all. I watched Sinners this weekend. Sister, have you watched that yet?
No, but I'm hearing so much about it. I feel like I need to. I'm not. The older I get, the less of a fan I am of scary movies. So
it's okay. So it's not scary.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say that it's not. Movie. It was, but he does a good job of not making it gory.
Okay.
In my opinion, so you're not gonna see all the blood gushing everywhere and the trying to just scare you. Okay. There's some moments of suspense, but you won't. It's not there to try to, oh my God, Freddy Krueger, Jason. It's not doing that. So it was good. I mean, Black, you saw what you thought?
I went to see it and I recommend it to all of us. The first hour in particular, I sat there and I said to myself, this is the moment where Michael B. Jordan took the torch from Denzel. For me, he was that good in that first hour. And this is no disrespect to Denzel, but as Denzel's career has wandered, this is the movie he became a superstar. If they had made the movie simply about just the twins and the day they had, and if you took the vampire concept out, it's brilliant. It's cultural. Yeah. And it's a movie that every Black person needs to see. He's doing for horror what he did with Marvel with Black Panther. They literally applauded when the movie ended, because there's some scenes, and I don't want to screw it up for you, but there's one scene in particular in the juke joint where he ties in our past, our present, and our future in a visual way and connects the importance of blues. And that's really what the movie is about. It's about the importance of blues and what it has meant. And there's a line in the movie where the preachers, where they say that we were brought here and religion was forced on us, but we created the blues. The blues is so authentic and embedded in who we are, from slavery to breakdancing to it's absolutely brilliant. And his portrayal of the two twins.
Oh yeah, he did great. I will say this: I did not know how smart Ryan Coogler was.
Yes, sir.
But if y'all have ever seen Lovecraft Country,
yes, sir,
on HBO,
yes, sir.
He's
went
it
there now. He's it now.
Yeah. He's the new
collaboration. He's it.
So what Spike Lee was to the 90s,
in
the early 2000s, Ryan Coogler is now. And again, he didn't disappoint, y'all. I'll just be honest with you. I don't go to the movies, and I want to see that. And again, I'll say this, not to give anything away. It's Black, and we've talked about this before. Black people are culturally defined by religion. So it's all in our life, every part of our life, whether you know it or not. And he did a great job of trying to articulate superstition
without being preachy, without being
exactly.
overhand and preachy. He didn't do Tyler Perry-ish.
Yeah, no.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
He did good. So yeah, y'all go see it. Like I said, I ain't scared, but I will say if you are very superstitious and you really not strong in your in your beliefs, you better be careful because that boy's articulating pretty well, make you jump off a cliff. You think something?
Y'all didn't talk me. Y'all didn't talk me into it. I think I might have to go check this out. I ain't no big movie buff, but I think I'm gonna have to go check it out for myself.
Yes, it's more suspenseful again than it is scary,
but it's deep.
He did a great job. So okay, well, good, man. Listen, that's just our point of view. We ain't here to give nothing away, but we are trying to. And again, he put up 61 million, man, for this weekend. And
that's
so
that's the beautiful thing right there. People went out and checked it out. Yeah,
man, we're learning the importance of people now, and again, what it means. And so again, this is what we've always said about Black folks, man. You give me that quality, we'll come get you. We'll support you. Don't come with that foolishness. And he did it. He gave the quality. She said it was good, not that scary, Ken. And it was.
I mean, horror movies don't bother me anyway, Miss Toria, but I just don't watch movies like that. That ain't
and I don't even
just been my thing. So
I don't even know why they calling it a horror.
That's why I'm trying to explain to y'all.
Yeah, it's not a horror.
It could stand on its own. If you took the vampire element out of it, it still would have been one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. It's that good.
And I've been okay. And I said, keep talking. But I'm gonna say this one thing. The reason why he did the vampire is because of what Lee said. He's not trying to be preachy. He's actually transitioning vampire for demonic beings. That's what he's doing. He's being smart about it. But again, that's just the religious nerd in me. I know what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Because again, when you start talking, because again, you start thinking this a Christian church. No. That's why he was smart enough to take demonic presence, and now you give it a vampire. But
and by the way, he grabs you in the first 5 minutes and don't let go,
bruh.
We're not talking about no build up, this, that. It's so intelligent.
Yeah,
he grabs you from the first scene and he don't let go.
I will say this: I was bought in when the boy, and I ain't telling nothing, because at the beginning of the scene, he go into that church, because y'all seen the trailer. He go in there. And he walk in there, and then the very next scene is one day earlier. And I said, good Lord.
Brilliant.
You look like that in 24 hours? God, boy,
so you bought right there. Like, what the hell happened? You bought right there, and he don't let you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's a lot in there, because I was talking to some other folks, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, I don't get it. Okay, well, I ain't got time to sit there and explain it to you right now. So, but it is what it is. All right, y'all. I want to follow up. Lee brought up something a few weeks ago about Isaac Hayes' song, I Stand Accused.
I Stand Accused.
Right. Okay. Deb, did you ever listen to that song?
I forgot all about it. I'm gonna be honest.
I know. She's just busy. Y'all, we appreciate it, honey, because listen, that time is money.
I would love to hear your view, Lady Dave.
Yeah. Okay, well, I tell you what. Because I want her to hear it, so we'll come back to it next week.
Okay.
Yeah, because you really have to listen to
appreciate where we want to go with this.
Sure.
You need to.
Yeah. Black asked my wife to hear it, and I just looked at her upside her head. I said, "This is exactly why he wanted us to hear this." I said, "This is crazy." I said, "Oh, you see?" Okay. All right, so we'll let Devin hear it first, and then I'll tell y'all my experience. Yes. All right, for sure. So we'll do it next week, y'all. I apologize, but listen, who's in your mouth?
Whoa! Wait a minute. Pause. Wait a minute. Time out. We need a commercial break. Yikes!
Okay.
This is a test. This is only a test.
Nobody.
Yeah, what a win. That's funny. Well, listen, I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself, but there's a I don't know if it's a show, story, whatever it is, but who is the Shade Room? they have this department that they do investigations, and so apparently these people are getting the BBL of dental work.
Oh,
so
the
yeah,
veneers.
they want veneers.
Veneers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, I didn't even know about this.
Everybody doing that. Yeah, I know what you're
What?
talking about.
Lord have mercy. Okay, so again, these people. So just think BBLs. You go to somebody and you get stuff done.
Right.
But think about it. Somebody want their teeth done, and so they want to take out all their teeth and they want to put in veneers. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So they want their teeth to look a certain type of way, but here's the problem: their teeth are falling out.
Oh.
Yes. So Shade Room investigating stories tomorrow, April 22nd. They're airing this show about these fake dentists that are doing these BBL teeth, whatever. And now they're showing the horror stories about people losing their teeth, the fake teeth are falling out their mouth, and so now it's like they're upset and so again,
wow.
and they're getting folks sick and bacteria setting in because they're doing it. They don't, yeah. So it's kind of jacked up, and so I'm just thinking. She said, "Oh, this is okay." Yeah. So I'm just thinking, Black. You think you might be interested in them?
Hell no.
Okay.
Now that I know what you're talking about, again, this is the first time hearing about it, but and I'm thinking of some famous people that recently have had that kind of work done. I know Cardi B. Now I'm sure she got it professional, but you do see some of these low rent people all of a sudden showing up looking like horses and shit, and so while you're spending that kind of money and you're still living in your mama's house or 3-4 together and ain't paying your bills, it's just ridiculous. And my people, we gotta stop this foolishness.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's just Black folks. I think it's all ethnicities that's doing stuff. But I mean, sister, I'm not trying to get in nobody's head about why they are or are not. But I mean, how far this gonna go? What we gonna replace now?
I hope it stops. I hope people get them like just fake grills that look like teeth. That's what I hope for them, because I don't know if y'all know how drastic it is to get veneers. Like they shave your teeth down to they're pointed, and then they have to screw in the permanent set like over your like teeth, and it's pretty permanent. And some qualified dentists will not touch the work of some old back alley stuff that you had done. And I don't know why they don't start at something simple like braces or something like that, or these people probably getting their teeth done don't even go to the dentist and get their teeth cleaned. When they have dental insurance. Like none of it makes sense to me, because I don't think people realize how important your dental health is. Your dental health actually will affect the rest of your body systems. Yes. So it's like stupid to me. Like I saw some dude on the show the other day with them white teeth in his mouth, couldn't even talk. He looked like a damn fool. I couldn't even finish watching the show because I kept focusing on his damn fools. Like I don't know why that's trending now, and you probably ain't never been to the dentist.
Man, Kenny, would you be with somebody who had veneers?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I ain't tripping. I mean, that's her mouth, ain't mine. She got to deal with it, not me. I mean, my thing is, if you want to enhance yourself and you don't consider the physical risk you take with that, that's on you. You grown. You should know better. But I think it's ridiculous. I mean, because you can tell it's not. Doesn't look good. Matter of fact, I think Tiny and T.I.'s son King, I think he got it, and he looks a complete fool with those veneers. It just looks really crazy. So I mean, it is, people gonna do what they want to do at the end of the day. So
I saw a dentist that said that your teeth should never be whiter than the white of your eyes. Wow. People that get their teeth done are getting them like so bright, they're all blue white. It looks crazy.
Yeah, right. It looks off. Like you look like a clown in your mouth, man. So okay, y'all, I'm going to do this.
Oh, you gonna get yours done?
No.
I
Well,
know. I
you
know
just said
that.
you. Oh, you just said
No.
you was gonna do this.
I-
Oh,
no,
my
well,
bad.
I'm about.
My bad.
All right, Kenny. You know, hold on. No, I'm about to ask this question reluctantly, but I'm holding on. Black. Now, have you ever had a young lady take her teeth out of her mouth and take care
God,
of it?
yes. Oh, God, yes. And you have to the title of the show now. I'm with Kenny at heart. I wouldn't do it, but would I stuff myself in them big teeth? You damn right.
Okay, y'all, I did it reluctantly. I knew you weren't gonna disappoint. Oh my goodness, y'all! Listen, I know half y'all live vicariously through this man because he would listen. It's almost like that dude that go eat all different places. Y'all just ask him who y'all want him to go food with. He just talk about it later. Yes, we do, Curl. That's the problem. It's like be okay with yourself,
do.
man.
Very true. Very true.
Oh, I'm okay with my blemishes, and again, some things, I see it's like, but it is what it is. So there that is. I know, Curl. I knew. I'm sorry, but it's okay. He deserves to tell the truth sometimes. So, all right, y'all. Listen. What happened? Oh, I thought I was about to say something to me. All right, listen. We're gonna keep it moving because Kenny got a good one today, and so I just want to hear it get here.
Yeah,
and my brother.
That's a heck of a transition because we're going from who's in your mouth to what you've been putting in your mouth. Or who been zooming who, and we're talking about Shannon Sharpe, by the way.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, on last night, Jane Doe filed a lawsuit in the state of Nevada claiming that Uncle Shannon had sexually assaulted her, accusing him of sexual assault, and battery, and is suing him for $50 million. And that was the headline today because just a couple of days ago, I did a segment on, he's on the verge of signing this 9-figure deal for his podcasting group, Shay Shay Media. He's the hottest name in the podcasting game, if you don't know. And then this goes down on yesterday, and she's Jane Doe. Well, she ain't Jane Doe tonight on TFG tonight because we know her name, and I'm damn gonna say it. We gonna say her name tonight. We're gonna be like the Destiny Child. Say her name, say her name. We're gonna do that. Her name is Gabriella Zonaidi, by the way. She's roughly 20 years old. Her and Shannon met at a workout facility. They had she's in her mid-20s, and they met a couple of years ago. And long story short, his lawyers came out with their response to this. But I don't want y'all to hear the response from his lawyers first. I just want to get y'all initial reaction when you first heard this. Lady D, had you got any news or heard this or saw this, and what's your reaction to it?
I did, and I'll be honest, I kind of got frustrated. I feel like we've gotten way too careless and comfortable with these lawsuits. And I say that reluctantly because I never want to take away from a woman who's actually been violated or harmed. Right. You know what I'm saying? But these hoes, they doing the most, right? Like it's like y'all in relationships with these dudes for like an extended period of time, and as soon as he boot your ass off, now a lawyer can call you out and be like, "Hey, did he ever call you out your name or something like that?" And now you got a $5 million lawsuit. I think we need to get to a place where if it's found out that these women are lying, or if it ain't what it is, they should have to face the same penalties that the man would have had to face if he was found guilty.
I agree.
I totally agree 100% with that, Lady D. All right, Brother Black, I definitely know you. I definitely want your opinion. We're going to talk about the lawyers now. Shannon Sharpe lawyers, about 2 hours after this broke today, they came with receipts. They released text messages from Gabriella Zonaidi. One of them was from 1/1/25 this year. It says, "I know you missed this big juicy ass, $25,000 for each cheek." That text was sent the day after they had sexual relations. By the way, now this text message was released in October 2023. "I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you are, you are clocking me." That was another text message from. Miss Gabriella Zunagi. And then in January of 2024, she says, "That's my daddy. F. I want you to F me. I want you to put a big black baby in me." These were text messages released by Shannon Sharpe's lawyers to justify, to say that, hey, my client didn't sexually assault nobody. We were in a consensual relationship. All right, Brother Lee, I'm gonna let you have the floor. Go ahead. Tell me what you think.
Well, I've never been so proud of Shannon Sharpe in all my life because he's taking a page out of my book. You think you're gonna blackmail and shame me? Put that nasty no good bitch on Front Street and tell all of it. Don't be ashamed, brother. I'd have put a collar around many a nasty no good bitch and yanked as hard as I could and come all on a nasty filthy back and wiped it on the curtains too, you nasty no good bitch.
Hell to the no!
So it is not an accident that the lawyer she got is Busby, the same ambulance chasing lawyer that's accusing Jay-Z and them of it. And so this is and to your point, Sis Lady, anybody who knows me know I can't stand this Me Too movement because it has ruined the credibility of true victims. And it's high time that we do something about this. And I love that he is saying that, no, you think he's going to shame me because you thought I was going to fold. It's not an accident that this happened. All of a sudden you remember this, you feel violated right when you get this on the precipice of the 6th deal. No, Shannon put a camera in front of you. I'm glad. I want to see what this nasty no good bitch look like. The only thing I will say to you, Shannon, leave these white holes alone. For the white bitches.
Yes, I think she like Mexican or something.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Michelle. Yeah,
he prefers white women. Now that is one of those things,
dummy.
You know, and so that's what's getting them in trouble, brothers, especially you athletes. Wake up, wake up, wake up. And that's not to say that sisters aren't trying to do that as well, but you see who's coming for you because they are playing into the victim mentality because America is founded on the concept that the greatest, most prized possession in America is a white woman. And my thing is, when I finish, if I'm Shannon Sharpe, when I finish with you, I had your mama looking upside your head saying, I don't know, this bitch was that nasty. Shannon, talk about how she put her tongue in your filthy, dirty hole and your shit on her neck. You dirty bitch.
My.
In the words of Harlem Nights, if you're going to be a hoe, be an honest hoe.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I knew Brother Black was going to bring it. I knew Lady D was going to bring it too. Let me ask you this. This is a civil suit, ladies and gentlemen. There's no criminal charges involved with this. This was filed in the civil court, and she wants $50 million.
Crazy.
Brother Brenton, frivolous lawsuits. How can where do we go from here? Especially when you accuse a man of something of this nature, because a lot of times people the court of public opinion gonna believe you guilty anyway. So no matter what, So there it is. And CC says, she says, why civil not criminal? Because there's no report. She didn't report it to law authority. She didn't report this at all. She went straight to civil court. So that's why no criminal charges. So what's your thoughts on that, Brett?
I like Devin said, again, there has to be a yin with the yang. So as long as there's no recourse or consequence for you doing things like that, again, with the police, you have a right to remain silent. Why? Because you can incriminate yourself if you don't. So again, we have to put something in place that, listen, if you're going to come forth, then you're going to have to like put some skin in this game. And again, that should be what's up, man, because again, we have to reestablish integrity. And so if you don't reestablish integrity, then like Devin just said, for the women who has really been, and they don't have the money or the means to put themselves out there, or the person that's done this to them, they don't mean nothing to nobody. Again, that's unfair to them. So everybody got to put some skin in the game. Like if you're going to call them out, then you got to be best to at least do a year and a half or two, something for, for whatever you're doing. That's just, and again, I'm glad Devin said it first, because, folks be like, oh, y'all just massaging, y'all hate us. Ain't nobody hating on y'all. It just, again, if it happened, fine. But if it didn't happen, and again, it's just the corruption of the justice system anyway. So that would just create a whole slippery slope there, right? Because again, people would take justice and try to manipulate it just to say you didn't have whatever you need. So there's no recourse for this. Again, the only thing is you got to have some skin in the game. But that's yes, ma'am.
Can we also talk about those filthy, nasty, dirty community things that they slinging around? That's what this dumbass get for messing with a 20-year-old. I hope she take all his goddamn money because I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them going around screwing all these nasty, dirty, filthy bitches, in the words of Black. Then they expect there to not be no consequence. I hope they stick their dick in something that make it fall off and turn into slime and it ooze off their nasty ass. I'm sick of them messing with all these women and thinking there ain't no consequences. There got to be a consequence on both ends. Her consequence is she's a dirty, filthy, lying hoe, and his consequence is keep your dirty dick to yourself. You won't have problems.
And Lady D, you said that so eloquently, I must say. And that was the flip side of that I was going to talk about in my final thoughts. And I'm going to say that to respond to that because I totally agree with you. Because it ain't just her that we should be calling filthy no good. We should be calling 56-year-old Shannon Sharp 50 no good too, because your ass too old to be doing that. So anyway, that's my thoughts, and I say what I have to say in my final thoughts later.
Well, Brother
anyway,
Kenny,
if
you're gonna play with pigs, you got to get in the mud. I don't mind.
Oh my God, mud!
I'm sick of it. I don't need to know about that.
You know about all that. Get out of here.
You no damn mud. I'm good
Porky.
with that.
Porky over here. Look at Porky. Listen, so I mean, Devin, so are you supporting them or you're not supporting them? I don't know. You kind of taking both sides.
I'm on the fence. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sick of these women coming out later and trying to make it something that it wasn't, because it was probably always a money grab to begin with. And let's be honest, Shannon looked like Miss Netta. She ain't chasing after Shannon because he's some handsome ass dude, right? So it was always a money grab to begin with. But when you don't get your money, you tuck your tail and you go find you another Miss Netta. At the same time, if he wouldn't have messed with the hoe, he wouldn't be in this predicament.
Wow, what a conundrum. All right. Well, we'll clear the slate here just a second. All right, she's had her moment.
Netta. God,
not Miss Netta, right? That's
jeez.
Yikes. All right. Well, listen, we are doing well with these topics. So well. So here we are. I guess it brings us to the truth, right? Are women smarter than men?
Yes.
Perfect segue. Perfect segue.
Right. I knew it. Yeah, good. And that's why I love asking this computer, because this thing ain't got not now bit of skin in this game. And so, as we know, it is the most intellectual entity that man knows. So who better else to ask but the computer itself, AI? And since Devin says yes, Kenny Black, what y'all think?
It depends. I think it depends on what the subject matter is.
Okay.
Academically, I would say yes. Common sense, hell no.
See, again, I really feel like all of these answers come from experience, but that's neither here nor there.
Victoria says, of course we are.
Of course we are. That's spoken from a woman. Of course.
Well, listen, that's why I appreciate artificial intelligence, because y'all blame this thing for whatever it's finna say. I haven't even read it, so I'm gonna read it for the first time because I didn't want to be biased. So, I just want to hear it out. So I asked AI, who is smarter, men or women? Here's its response. It says, the question of whether women are smarter than men does not have a straightforward answer, because intelligence is multifaceted and influenced by various factors, including genetics, environment, culture, and individual experiences. Here are several points to consider. And then it says, point number 1, defining intelligence. It says intelligence is not a singular trait, but encompasses various domains such as analytical reasoning, creativity, emotional intelligence, linguistic ability, I said it, and social skills. Research often shows that men and women may excel in different types of intelligence. For example, men may perform better in spatial task. Yeah, I don't know what a spatial task is.
I think that's spatial task.
Spatial. Okay. Yeah. SPATIAL. Okay.
Yeah. Spatial.
What is that?
Hands. Things you
Oh,
do.
use your hands. Okay, very
Mhm.
good. While women sir.
Fixing a car, auto mechanics.
Oh, okay. Okay. While women often excel in verbal tasks and emotional intelligence. I'll start with sister since she was just so adamant.
There was a man behind that.
Oh, come on now.
I need you to go to the feminine AI, the gender neutral AI.
My goodness. Wow.
You're the man behind the mask.
Wow. Okay. He said Lee shared this chick asking her daughter questions. I do not agree with my
Oh
answer.
yeah, I did watch that. That was an epic fail, boy. God.
Now here y'all go. See how y'all do. We Katie. This is a whole. That's why I love this segment now because y'all can't blame us.
No accountability whatsoever.
None. And we take the hit too when it's the dudes issues, right? So again, okay, all right, brothers, what y'all think?
I agree.
I
agree with AI.
I do.
Okay,
I do.
All right.
On a serious answer, I absolutely agree. I work in education, and intelligence is measured in different ways. If we're talking about social skills and being able to articulate, it's not even close. I see it every day. But in other areas, there's a reason why Albert Einstein is considered a genius. You're talking about astrophysics and things like that. There are certain things. So it varies.
Okay. It gives another one. It says cultural and social influences. It said gender biases and societal expectations can significantly impact perceived intelligence and opportunities for women and men. Historically, women have often faced barriers to education and professional advancement, which can skew perception of their capabilities. It says encouragement and socialization can differ based on gender. It says affecting confidence and performance in different domains. For example, women may be encouraged to develop strong communication and interpersonal skills, while men may be steered towards competitive and analytical fields. I can see that.
I agree with that too.
Okay.
But my pushback there is, if that's not in my opinion, that's not factoring in race.
Right. Yeah.
That's not factoring in race. And because
there's a lot of
because you said the first part of it, we're in a male-dominated society where for a couple of 100 years, women were supposed to be homemakers and not take on going in the workplace. Well, here we are now. It's flipped, in the generation we live in now. And then Black women sit at the bottom of that totem pole,
Yeah.
And but when you look at what's happened there, though, too, there's been a absolute flip, and that's why I can sit here and tell you, African American women are pursuing education at an exponential rate than Black men are, even though the opportunities are there for both.
And let me just add on to that, because I think a lot of us sometimes base intelligence on our education that we have behind us. And I don't think just because you have a master's and a doctorate and all that, your intelligence isn't just that much more than someone that can be just as smart as you are, but they may not be in the same level of
that's why I said academically.
So intelligence to me can't be based upon your college education either, in my opinion.
Right. No, for sure. Okay. I'll end it with this one because I thought this was a little interesting. It says individual versus group differences. And so I see there's a lot of caveats and a lot of components that you'd have to place in this, because again, as it said, this is not just a straightforward answer. No one person is the same, and again, you're brought up in different situations. That's why we got to stop generalizing everything. So again, I'm gonna say this. It says intelligence varies greatly among individuals, regardless of gender. Generalizing intelligence based on gender overlooks the vast diversity within each group and may reinforce stereotypes. In conclusion, rather than viewing intelligence as a competition between genders, it's more constructive to recognize and appreciate the unique strengths and abilities that individuals of all genders possess. Intelligence manifests in various ways, and both men and women contribute valuable perspectives and skills to society. Emphasizing collaboration and mutual respect can lead to a more inclusive understanding of intelligence.
I agree with that 1,000%. And I'm glad it ended on that because
Yes.
it takes me back to the first human pair. There's a reason why a woman was taken from the rib of a man and considered a helper. And even when we look through history and some of the greatest kingdoms that's ever been, and even in our own society with presidents, we all know that there's a saying behind every great man is what?
A great woman.
A great woman, you know. And we can point to that, you know, in our lifetime, you know. Michelle Obama is more educated than Barack. Now, he has the charm, you know, and he's the male leading it, but don't get it twisted. Just listen to him talk, you know, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. Come on now, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's, you know, Joe Biden and Jill Biden.
Jill
you know,
Biden, right.
There are countless examples where, you know, women have had to play the secondary role, but behind the scene, in many cases, they're the brain behind operations. Even in businesses, you know, we see it with the Gates and things like that. So, you know, I love how it ended in that.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, you know, when you have a strong couple working together, there's a higher level of intellect in that relationship.
That's right.
You being married, you two being married, you know, the most successful marriages is ones where there is a collaboration.
Correct.
I remember being married, you know, when people hear that I was the head of the household, they imagine that I was lording it over. That's not what it meant by that. It just meant that I went home and talked everything over with my wife. You know, well, baby, you know, what do you think we should do here and there? And I stood out as the face of it, but trust and believe, my wife's voice was always there. No, you know, I don't think we should do that, baby. And she made me see things that I couldn't see. So.
Yeah, so for sure, at the end of the day, I believe, number one, that there are biases that have been implemented or influenced by the culture and even this country, period. I mean, just the world. I mean, if you have traveled any bit outside of America, you would know how misogynistic the rest of the world is. Women are not even, you know, deemed as human in some countries. And so I'll say this because it is both-sided. Yes, men do dominate, unfortunately, because of culture. But women, y'all be trying to trip too, because it is not happy life, happy wife. Oh, happy wife, happy life. Ain't that? It's happy spouse, happy house.
I like that.
Look at you. Get your face. Get your
That's
face
what it
together.
is.
Happy house.
Up there.
It's happy spouse.
Look at us.
So yeah, y'all be playing. So I'm just telling y'all, y'all give us some too. Now we want the house gonna stay quiet when I'm happy too. So good. So all right, ma'am. She got something to say too. That's why I didn't put too much on us for this show, because y'all got some good stuff I want to talk about. I'm really intrigued by this. So, sister, I don't know who been in Kanye mouth, but apparently
I'm gonna leave that one alone for now.
That's right.
But apparently he's a proud dick sucker from the 90s.
Oh my God.
But in other news, I don't know if y'all were into Coachella. Because Meg Thee Stallion had performed at Coachella. And she performed a couple of Slim Thug songs. But for y'all who may not know, Meg is actually from Houston. But this, speaking of misogynist, dumbass, old ass, dirty ass men, he assumed because she sang a couple of his songs that she must have a crush on me, and he couldn't wait for her to get to Houston so he could hook up with her and all of the above. And she rebutted and now has said, I don't like you, Slim Thug. I just like your music. And I need to know, because at first it made me mad because I can think of a lot of dudes who act like that, who they have a sense of entitlement when it comes to certain women. And I feel like Slim Thug thinks he's still that guy that can probably pluck women from the industry just because he wants them. But I wanted to know when you hear that, what's the first thought that comes to your mind, Britton?
Stupidity. Like you to think of yourself that much, you're very, and I say that because unfortunately there are women who still do respond like that. And I think that's what I got to be careful about, because again, we only do things because at some point we think it's okay because it's been done for us. That's why when you talk about women who sleep with dudes like this, it's like you're gonna forever keep talking about that, right? Because there are women that's gonna keep being like that. Black say it all the time. Yeah, y'all listen to Devin, but except for when y'all come to my house. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there are people who exist like that. But again, I'll tell you, just like I was told by the old man, it's better to keep your mouth closed and folks think you're stupid than open up your mouth and they figure out just she is.
Yep.
Ken, if Meg was your fiance, spouse, partner, would you be offended by something like that?
I wouldn't be offended because I know she's in that field. She's gonna get that type of attention. She's gonna get guys coming at her like that. So she handled it well. You know, my thing is she basically, you know, she didn't leave no type of window crack for him to think that he had opportunity. She said, "Nah, I'm not interested in you. I believe you're a legend from H-Town. I just like your music." You know, he's working from his ego and his past. A lot of dudes work off of their ego and the past. Your past, you could get poor women just by saying stuff like that, but you know, it didn't work with her. So no, I was like, I'm glad she said something.
I'm glad you said that, Ken, because he then posted that he will just be patient and he thinks that she'll come around after a certain amount of time. Lee, is he now portraying himself as like a creep or a weirdo? I think she should avoid him.
I wouldn't necessarily call him a creep, but it's you look, his in my opinion, it could be either one, his pride is hurt, or I respect the man's confidence. You know, now I think she handled it brilliantly, like brother Kenny said. And I've come to respect her more and more on a true serious note. I love the way she handled it. I love the way she handles herself. But if we're keeping it real, I don't discount that he feels that confidence as well. Now, I think he's not being realistic. And I'm glad you mentioned his age in a sense. You can be a legend and that doesn't go away. You know, nobody can strip who he is as a music icon, especially in Houston. He's that dude. He really is a legend. Having said that, he needs to recognize that, you know, there's a big age barrier. Your scene is not her scene. She's paying homage and respect, but there has to come a time. Like, there is no way that I walk out this door in any way and think I still got it going on like I had in 20, 30 years ago. Now, having said that, there's always going to be women out there that's going to get caught slipping too, you know, and I think he put himself in an awful position to be embarrassed, you know, and maybe it's a little bit of saving face now.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm going to need Slim Thug to just act his wage because Meg is worth millions. And it's not like this girl that was selling booty cheeks for $25K a cheek who needs somebody like, and Slim Thug, I don't think he got it. I love Slim Thug. I love his music, but he ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the Shannon Sharps can get certain women because they got it. He could never get a Meg Thee Stallion. He is not in her tax bracket. Right. So I'm gonna need him to humble himself and go find him a Meg the Pony, a Meg the Zebra, a Meg the something else but Meg Thee Stallion, because there is absolutely no reason for her to go after his old ass. So I'm gonna go now back to minding my business.
Wow. We are so complicated as human beings. It's just ridiculous, man. But again, this is why the experiences, cultures, you know, just your environment. I love sociology, man. It just helps expand your thought process when it comes to people. What you say, Victoria? That's not confidence. He's just another arrogant dude.
You know, I got to push back on that. I know.
I got an issue. I ain't gonna say issue. Yeah. I got a question too. I think. See, this could make for a whole nother Black Love segment, and we may have done this about the art of pursuing. Some women want a man to pursue, even when she done said, "Nah, I ain't interested."
Correct. Yeah, that's true.
Some women's like, okay, I want a man that's confident in who he is. So I want to, even if I'm not really feeling him, I still want him to show that he kind of want to get at me. See, that's the flip side of this too. So
when I go to a liquor store, it's that same homeless man sleeping on the sidewalk that try to come at me every time I go in the liquor store.
That's not who we talking about. We ain't talking about Ned the Wino, Lady D. We ain't talking about Ned the Wino.
Well, Ned the Wino is the same as Slim Thug for Meg Thee Stallion, because I know my record and I'm back in my wage. So he is the same as a Slim Thug for Meg. So it's the same as the homeless.
My pushback
with me.
My pushback on that, sis, is this, and I'm being as serious as a heart attack. I have a value that, again, if I pay $20 for some pussy, I want head and tail. And so I ain't never been one to spend a whole lot, even though I got a little decent little nest egg. And being a 57-year-old fat man with missing teeth, the fact that I can still walk out this door and drag a bitch in here, you know, and spend a little bit of nothing. It ain't about the money. It is in some ways about how you carry yourself. Oh, and in case anybody wondering, I ain't talking about bitches with no teeth missing and this, that, and the other. I've always had greater success with more successful women. I'm talking about women that got money, because it's how I walk it, how I carry it. You know, I have more trouble from that bitch that's working at Popeye's Chicken. You know, she gonna give me more huff and puff. So I'm pushing back on it from that perspective, that in many ways, I don't care what she got. And that's why and again, I like home court advantage. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. It's decent, but I'm the god and the king up here. So they like these women here in Atlanta, they got better houses, better cars. I have a Nissan. But when that bitch crossed this threshold, I put her on her knees the same way I would anybody else.
Just as a show of hands, did anybody need all of that clarification from B Black?
This is a test.
Thank you, sir, for how much you pay for head and tail. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Always. He is feeling good. Yes, sir. Okay.
2 for 20.
Hey, that used to be a hotel. Anyway, come on. Okay. I'm told my business.
Boy.
I'm telling you. Oh, it done took me back down. Okay, let me get on to this. Yeah, I'm telling you, Miss Tori. Thank you. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with the Black Love series. I thought it was interesting because I wanted to talk about mama's boys versus girls with daddy issues. And so my thing about this was who's bringing more issues to the table? And I say this because, again, it's just for conversation. I don't mean nothing by it. It's just having these conversations, because I can't stand neither one of them, if I'm being honest. Because I just feel like there's just so many things that causes these situations to happen. But I mean, to you, Black, what is a mama's boy?
My definition is a son that's been shielded and raised in the shadow of his mom and takes on those ways, and she is not allowing him to step out on and be his independent, authentic self as a young man. So when I say that term, that's how I define it.
Okay. Kenny, what do you think when you hear a mama's boy?
I think most people think that mama's boys doesn't make good husbands or make good relationships. That's the number one thing that I think. But what I think is, I think I kind of agree with what Black was saying, that they tend to I think sometimes a mama's boy can be hampered by being somewhat of the husband or the boyfriend of his mother, and given responsibilities that he's not really ready for.
Okay.
At a young age.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Sister, what do you define a mama's boy to be?
I think just a man who allows his mom to interfere in every aspect of his life, where it complicates it, and he will never be able to truly be happy and independent with anyone.
Cool. So let me start by saying this, because you did make a point, and I want to make sure this is really clear. All single mothers who have sons don't raise mama's boys.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to be clear about that. I'm a product of that, and that's what I'm
too.
saying. Yeah,
Me too.
so that's why I just want to make sure that's.
But
not
I'm still a mama's boy though. I'm a mama's boy. I ain't gonna
I
ever
was
say I
hoping,
wasn't.
Kenny,
But
that
yeah,
you
I
added
got
that element to it too, because we associate it in a negative context, but there is a positive aspect to being a mama's boy too. That I love my mama, you know what I'm saying, and I'm looking for a woman that emulates the qualities of my mother. So there is but we typically associate the negative.
Okay, right, fair enough.
You're
So
exactly
that
right.
okay, that's good. I don't think I love my mama. I don't think, but I think when you begin to define the terms like we've been doing, it's when. So here it is. I'll ask this question before I make the statement. So then, who then becomes the enabler? Is it the mama, or is it something that just organically happens with a son doing those things?
Definitely the mama for me. Definitely the mama.
Yeah,
the mother,
for sure.
The mother.
Okay, good. So again, here's the reality then, because mamas, y'all got to stop trying to raise these boys. Again, it is what it is. Nobody's here to try to point the finger at what happened and why because I'll be honest with you, I would rather you stay by yourself than have a raggedy man trying to raise the boy, because then he's raising a raggedy boy. So I would prefer that not to happen.
I agree.
So y'all don't. So stop forcing some of these clowns trying to be around these kids, because then they teaching them stuff wrong. So again, for me, a mama's boy is a person who is emotionally inappropriately attached to his mama. Like you can't function, you can't make decisions, and then I mean, sister, this is key for you, right? What type of effect does it have on a woman when his mama is always interfering in situations? That man's not sexy.
No, I actually prefer a man who has a decent relationship with his mom, because if he doesn't, that tells me something else. But I also need you to be confident enough to make her understand that my situation is my situation. Like but honestly, if a mom wants to cause those kind of problems for you in your relationship, that's a whole nother problem altogether.
Right.
And I think where a lot of women go wrong, and it's not even necessarily always single women, is they want to raise their sons to take that role of the man they've always wanted.
Right.
And then they have a really hard time letting go.
Right.
So she is the one that's causing the problems, not him, usually.
Okay, good. So again, we've established that mama, you the problem. All right, so be careful. All right, let's turn the diamond. Girls with daddy issues. Black, how do you define? I'm sure you have slept with many of these women, but how do you define?
So I define a girl with daddy issues very similar. I look at a woman that is longing for either the missed attention that she did not receive, that void that was never filled by having a father, or the second type is somebody that they're having unnatural connection to their father. A woman I was immensely in love with, she had daddy issues on the other end. Her father was there. But to constantly be compared to what my daddy says, to Devin's point, that you do recognize I'm knocking you down. Your daddy ain't here, and that became an issue.
Yeah. Kenny, what do you think about a woman who has daddy issues?
I think that she's longing for. She probably has had multiple relationships, looking for that love that she wanted from her father from the jump. So she probably jumps from different relationships and could be a little bit emotionally detached, I should say. And also issues of if she had a father and she saw her father mistreat her mother, that definitely affects her in relationships moving forward. If her daddy was a player and got outside kids and her mama put up with it, that affects, I think, how she look at men too. So that's a daddy issue as well.
For sure. Sister?
I think daddy issues, if I'm just referring to myself, is why I went through in my younger life a lot of the mistreatment and abuse and things like that from men, because some men take advantage of women with daddy issues. It's like some men just have this ability to quickly be able to tell that this woman didn't have a father in her life, and she's longing for that attachment to a man and that leadership from a man. And there are decent dudes, of course, who don't take advantage, but for some reason I frequently encountered the opposite.
Wow. Okay. So to the same situation then, and I'll start with you here, sister, because who's more at fault then here? I mean, because again, more fathers are not in the home than there are mamas not in the home. So again, I mean, how are we divvying out the blame here?
The fault goes to the trash ass fathers who wasn't in the women's life and didn't teach her how she should approach a relationship with a man. I know it's easy, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, to blame a quote unquote single mother for how their daughters turned out and for things that happen. But I wish we would start putting a lot more onus on those trash ass dudes who just decided to not be present and not be around, because it's 110% his fault, And yes, my mom taught me wrong things when it comes to men because of the way she was taught, if you want him to stay around, you got to do this. If he left, you must have did that, but it's his fault for not instilling that foundation in me.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because we talked about this earlier, as far as when we were talking about the women, accusing men without any punishment. This is really kind of interesting for me, Kenny, because everybody who's having sex is not trying to have kids, is not ready to have kids. But again, that's the consequence, the potential consequence for having sex, right? Again, you find somebody who know how to have sex, but they don't know how to raise a child. And that's very consequential when you're dealing with people. But again, we can't tell grown folks nothing because that's what they do. But again, I mean, how we divvying out fault here for the father or the child, daughter?
I agree with Lady D. I think men are getting a pass for their absence. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the foundation I think any kid needs, regardless of if it didn't work out with you and the mother. Okay, cool, we get that. But that doesn't give you the license to just disappear and not establish that connection with your child. And unfortunately, men have dropped the ball on this. I can say, and I'm speaking from my own experience, I ain't have a daddy in my life. So maneuvering this thing called life, I had daddy issues, believe it or not. And so I had to work through that my damn self because of my disconnect from my own father. So that's a whole nother topic. I didn't mean to go that route, but
no, 100%. Again, it is so complicated, and again, that's why I appreciate what we do. We don't mind attacking complicated issues again because people don't know how to talk about stuff, right? And so we're just trying to help y'all begin to lay some foundation for things that need to be talked about. So, Black.
I agree with Sister Lady D. It's 150% the man's fault, and they have articulately talked about the men that aren't there. I'm going to talk about the men that stay, because that's just as damaging. And ironically, me and my sister Sherry, we had this conversation last night. Oh, wow. We up late talking about this very last night about our life choices and whatnot. And Sherry's been married for 38 years. Her husband is I think 10 or 12 years older than her, and we share the same father. And she mentioned she loves her husband, no doubt about that. But, we talked about the fact that there was something she was looking for, and she went out and found an older man that she felt like would give her the stability that we didn't see growing up in our household in many ways. And so for these fathers that are still there, just as much damage can be done. One of my very close friends, Lady D from my show, she said that when there's a father in your life, that's the first example of a man, how his love is going to be. That's her. She said that's the first person you fall in love with. And so the example you set for that impressionable young girl, and I just posted something on my page just today about fathers and daughters. It can be the most beautiful relationship in the world. And we hear this term now about mom, girl dad. And Kobe Bryant gets a lot of credit for when he was alive, blah, 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 blah. And it truly can be a beautiful thing to see a father having that bond. But guess what? for you dads that are so-called there and aren't leaving, if you're not setting a good example,
right?
If you're still mistreating that mom, and I'm talking about even the Nick Cannons and the ones spreading their seed around, that's the example that you're showing that girl, that this is acceptable. And inadvertently, you're creating a whole different set of narratives in her world and a void that just you can't fill. So it's a dangerous thing if you're going to take on that role to be a father, whether it's a son or daughter, but particularly for a woman, you're setting her up in many ways to accept the example that you're showing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have 3 different generations for my kids. I have a millennial, I have the Z, and then I have this Gen Alpha, which is my baby boy. And again, I've told them this from the jump. I tell them quite often, I'm trying to eliminate a lot of baggage for you guys. Like, I don't want you guys to bring baggage into your relationship. And to be a mama's boy and to be a young lady who has daddy issues, that's baggage.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody got to, because again, what have you gone through that I'm going to have to work through?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What have you gone through that now I'm finna have to work through? And what I've learned, and Devin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, when you go on them planes, they charge you some fees for them baggages.
Mm-hmm.
And the more baggages you have, the more fees you have. So I'm just telling y'all need to be careful of, because we are these kids, and I said I got 3 different generations. They'll hear you say something and they'll take it and go somewhere. It's like, how did you get that from that? And so again, we just have to be very careful with how we are, again, setting these examples for our kids, because it's very hard for people to work through these baggages, especially when the older they get and the more they have become able to mask them. It's very hard, man. So listen, I'm just telling y'all, my kids got it hard because I got to see everybody y'all dealing with. Come here. Yeah, I told them I got to talk to y'all because I see something. Mm-hmm. I see some stuff. And so it is what it is, man. So, again, I'm nobody talking about perfection and none of that kind of stuff. I'm just saying if we can do better, let's do better. And so let's eliminate these baggages for these kids, because it's a lot for them to carry. And I'm just telling y'all, I don't want to work through a lot of stuff that they done been through. So I'm just, again, there's some hard topics I want to get into with y'all, man, even about abuse, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. And again, it's just, we got to get there. So it's coming up soon. I ain't had the stomach yet, because it's just gonna be some hard stuff to talk about. So, but we'll get there. So anyway, all right, y'all, that's Black Love Series. So I jumped the gun on my boy's topic, but here it is, cousins. That's a
perfect segue. You ended it by saying that abuse is such a hard topic to talk about, but I'm so glad and I'm so grateful for the show, because we can't sit here and always talk about the happy, fun things and politics. We are our brother's keeper, and we have to have some hard conversations in the African American community sometimes that it's necessary. And we've talked about the salaciousness of Kanye West a couple of times, just sprinkled through the show. And so here it is, folks. He has a song out called Cousins now, where he is revealing that he has been in an incestuous relationship with a male cousin who's in jail serving prison time for murdering a pregnant person. And I followed this story when it came out, and everybody's jumping on the salacious nature of it. Oh my God, he's admitting that, if you look at the lyrics of the song, that he sucked his cousin's D, up until he was 14. So we don't know when it started, but of course, here we are. So now Kanye West has opened up this world, and the easy part is to talk about Kanye West. Folks, this is not going to be about him. That brother needs help in more ways than one. I want to talk about the impact of the subject that he's opened the door, because one thing I can tell you about the African American community is we still suffer so greatly from homophobia. We're the last culture that's still dealing with that, folks. You know, I work for white corporate America, and we still are raised in our communities that the dirtiest thing you can call a black man is a sissy, a punk, a fag, or this, that, and the other, you know, because that's why we created a term of down low and DL. But this is even bigger than that. And I call this segment Cousins because years ago when Tyler Perry first came out, he had a movie called, dealing with Daddy's Little Girls, I think it was called, or something like that, where he addressed the incestuous type things that happen in black families that we cover up, you know. And I got a lot of there's different women watching this show right now, and you guys, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. In our culture, in our society, in our families, how many uncles have touched girls in the wrong way, but we don't talk about it? How many cousins have done things to girl members and we don't talk about it? And we joke about it at times too. Oh, don't let Uncle such and so come to get them girls, blah, 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 blah. And so the fact that he's opened the door that this happens to boys as well, we really don't want to face that. But to me, it's time that we pull the scab off of an ugly secret that happens that, yes, even in African-American families, there's a reason why there's a lot of these young men around here that's walking around that's damaged, because we don't talk about the fact that they've played with each other, they've experimented with each other, they've done things that they're ashamed about, and they have to compensate and many times overcompensate for that by going out, killing and shooting, talking about bitches and hoes and things of that nature. And it's funny that this topic came up, when at the same day that the Pope passed, and I laughed to myself when they said that the Pope died on Monday Easter. First of all, you lecherous son of a bitch, Easter was Sunday, and I'm talking to you billions of followers who enabled this whole organization that preys upon children, but is covered up under the name of religion and God. And even on this show, we talked about the Me Too segment, but we don't hardly ever talk about it as it impacts men, because, dare I say, we don't want to speak about the ugliness about men that get molested, touched, groomed, things of that nature until it's too late. And so we're so quick to shoot the messenger until we're killing the message, folks. And I'm not sitting here telling you that I have the answers in any kind of way, but I do want to share something with you. One of my favorite songs is by, it's called Adam Lives in Theory, by Lauryn Hill. And if you haven't checked it out, it's very, very deep, and it talks about our relationship with God. And I wanted to end the show on this because I didn't get a chance to say Easter with you folks. And much as we talk about effery and foolishness, we ought to take a little pause sometime to think about what God means to our life. And there's one line in this one segment of the song where she says, "But much to their demise, poor decision closed their eyes. To the very antidote to their dilemma, burning in their lust, both of them adulterous, destroying the original agenda, praying to the sky in order to maintain a lie." Adam and Eve ushered in a whole lifetime of sin and death to us. And from that time to this, folks, we're still cutting God out of the big picture and trying to figure this shit out on our own. And in doing so, even in our families, we're covering over deep, dark secrets that aren't allowing us to heal. And so we can make fun of Kanye West if we want to, and we can pretend that what he said has no merit. But folks, I got to tell you, it's real. Sitting in front of you right now, I was molested by my cousin. And I joke about it and I talk about it. But on a real tip, I wonder if that in of itself is what not maybe have opened the door to me being exposed to sex and things like that at a much early age than I should have. And even in many ways have shaped my dynamic and how I view and treat women. I'm just like everybody else, people. I'm a work in progress trying to figure this shit out. And as a 57-year-old man, I'm as damaged as they come. I'm sitting here admitting that. And so because I am too damn cheap to go to a psychiatrist and lay on anybody's couch, I have to come here and air out my dirty laundry. And even though sometimes I say things with a smile, I so appreciate being able to share this with my family and with those of you watching, because I'm here to tell you that women, men, we're just the same. We're all impacted and affected by the things that happen and shape who we become and the decisions that we make. And I hope that before we laugh and scoff and let Black Twitter just push this into the background, to Brother Brenton's point, this is a conversation we don't need to cover over. Now that the scab's been pulled off, we need to heal.
Yeah, man. Yeah, good job, sir. There's a lot, but again, are people wanting to hear the truth? And that's another big thing, right? Because again, we got a lot of problems, man, and it's only so much running we can do. But all right, great show, y'all. I appreciate it, man. Kenny, I did good today. So
good on time, brother. Good on time.
All right. Well, listen, it is now, ladies and gentlemen, final thoughts time. And as you know,
the lead off.
So as it goes, lead off. Yes, sir. And by all means, sir, thank you again for what you have given to this show.
Yes, sir.
And give me your final thoughts, sir.
Powerful segment from Brother Black, man. Definitely well needed. And I think the conversation needs to continue. That hard conversation. We need to be able to talk about it. And so we can heal. But I want to piggyback off of what Lady D said when we was doing the Shannon Sharpe story, and she made a valid point. I know we were all talking about this money grabbing woman, 20-something year old Gabriella, Zanabi, whatever. She trying to get paid. She was in a consensual relationship with Mr. Shannon Sharpe, but the 57-year-old Shannon Sharpe should take some blame in this as well. But I also want to go back to social media and society as well. And I'm speaking to men now. I think a lot of men that's successful, you got a lot of money, you got a lot of power. You said you cool with being single. You happily single. Everybody celebrate being happily single. That's cool. That's great. But I think at the end of the day, I think if you had a wife that you were loyal to and you was loyal to her, you would keep yourself out of some of these situations. I think at the age of your mid-50s, it's time out for this running around in the streets, knocking off every woman you can knock off. Because at the end of the day, they're going for your money, man. So I think it would behoove you to find you that woman, because she out there, you probably overlooking her. Find you that one woman you can rock with. Get out them streets so you won't be in them courts later on. That's my final thought.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Always. Madam, always a pleasure. Always. Thank you for sharing so much knowledge.
I want to kind of piggyback off of what Black was talking about. Because the first thing I thought about when I heard this about Kanye, it wasn't about the fact that he sucked dick. It was about the fact that the way he treats women today. Right? Because if I think about the way he treats women, like we've seen him like walk women on leashes. He got an AI robot falling behind him right now. He's never been good to women. So I feel like maybe there's some underlying something there that's going on with Kanye stemming from that, like that made him maybe even question his own sexuality. So he's like overcompensating, or he may just truly dislike women. And that may be the case for a lot of men. And I know some people think that therapy does not help. I don't know, because I don't go. I should. I ain't going. But for the women, when your man is just mean and he just treats women like shit, ask him if he ever sucked his cousin dick, because it may go back to that. I'm done.
You're done. Okay. Yes, you're done. Thank you.
This is a test.
Right. It never fails, Kenny. You always, you do not go behind these two.
So I'm the flip side of my Capricornian brother down there on the bottom. And so I have to enlighten you on the other side to that coin of being a 57-year-old man. In an ideal world, I would love to have somebody, to share my life with, share my world with, and be intimate. And certainly, with all of the health issues I got right now, I can't horse these bitches around like I used to. and so I have to be realistic. With that said, unfortunately, I'm not going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs. And I wish in a perfect world that women didn't want me to be nasty, as I am. But the truth of the matter is, I'm partially retired because I'm actually not nasty enough for these dirty bitches. I've been putting belts around bitches' necks for 20-something years, pissing on their backs and all kinds of manner of things. Pretty much everything R. Kelly's in trouble for, I've done. Having said that, every now and then I need to itch and get that scratch itched a little bit. And I wish I could, look and pick a nice, decent woman that want to have a meal and come in and sit down and have a conversation. That's just not what they want. It's just not real. And the moment I approach them with that type of concept, they don't want to hear that shit. The truth of the matter is they want to cross this threshold for me to grab them by the scruff of their neck, push their head down, scuff their knees up, stuff myself in their head, tail, piss all on their back and head, and usher them up out of here before the sun come up. And so, as I said, I'm a work in progress. And so I wish in a perfect world we could do things a little bit differently, but unfortunately, this is the world that I inherit. And so the world that we inherit is there's just this many no good bitches out there. And I just implore guys to be a lot smarter. You know what you're going to get when you cross this threshold. You're not taking me to no Me Too campaign because we're going to stand there together holding hands. And I'm going to tell them every nasty, dirty thing you done, you wanted it. Dirty, no good bitch. And God bless you all. And I love you.
My God, just a second. Thank you, sir. Spoken like a true fashion misogynistic man. Thank you, sir. So always.
For me, Carol, it's hard.
Yes, he just continues to renew that card. I know it's a monthly subscription. I know it.
He's a habitual line stepper. He's gonna always step over that damn line. He's gonna do it every show.
Every time. Okay, again, I will never call Kenny a liar anymore because all right. Well, listen, y'all. I just got a question. I got one question. Great show for sure, 100%. But I have a question, please. What is it? What is that one thing that lets you know you're about to have a bad day? Is there anything in particular that could say, man, I'm about to have a bad day?
I can tell sometime when that first thing goes wrong in the morning and it just sets you off.
Okay. Yep. This is the first thing in the morning. Kenny, Debbie, y'all got anything?
My day starting off being approached by someone with a bad attitude and a bad mood for no reason.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
So somebody with bad energy. Yeah. Yeah. I ain't trying to be with you this early in the morning. I'm good on that. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, those are all great situations, but I found something here and I said, well, I guess he's gonna have a bad day today. So, take a look at this and see how bad you think this guy's day is gonna be.
Hey, Toto.
God damn. Yeah. Yeah, man. Just I'll be like, Coach. Hey, Coach, I'm done. Get me out of here, Coach.
I'm playing soccer after that. I'm done.
Yeah. Send me to the dugout. I'm good.
Man, dude.
I'm going to have to fight somebody. I'm fighting somebody.
Damn.
I mean, it's bad enough you took one to the shin. But man, you gotta take one to the head. Wow.
And not the good one, and not the good one you can take to the head. That's the bad part about it.
I just hope they won. To lose that game would be horrible. So I'll say this: just be careful, y'all. You know, some gotta take one thing at a time. Don't let one thing ruin your whole day, because again, it makes no sense to do that, right? Take every moment, leave that where it is, because nobody needs to be able to have that much power over you to ruin your whole day. Just don't let that happen. So just be careful, be intentional, and have you a good space sometime, man. You can just go to, because I got me a good circle. It's right here, and I enjoy coming every single week, right? And so as long as she ain't going nowhere, we gonna be here. So all right. So listen, y'all. That's Lee, that's Devin, and that's Kenny, and we'll see y'all in 7 days. We out. Peace.